And we're live. All right. Welcome to the stream. It's a cold Monday night after Christmas, December the 27th. Hopefully my voice is coming through. Swimmeroo, yes, I keep forgetting. That was a good lead into my first stream. I kept forgetting to finish my stories. I'd be talking about something and then I'd get distracted by something that happened in the game, and then it would just fall by the wayside. So there's a lot of unfinished tales in stream number 1. It's still up, I believe, on Twitch, so you can check it out, or you can check it out on the YouTube channel. So welcome to the stream. I'm going to start the stream a little bit differently. We're not in the Shire anymore, although the round door would indicate so, in the presence of several bounders. This is actually the borders of Bree-land, but we're going to do a little show and tell. I actually had quite the Lord of the Rings Christmas this year. I got quite a few Lord of the Rings gifts, so I'll show those off to you. The first would be a shirt, I guess. So I'm wearing this shirt. It will be my streaming shirt, unless of course it needs cleaning. So it's not all those that wander are lost. Very, very cool design. Got that from my son. So thanks for that. Another gift that I got, I'm going to use a prop here. So this is a coffee mug. Looks like it's just black. Okay. I've got some hot water here. I hope it's still hot. I don't know if this is going to work. It might. Let's see. I'll hold that up. I don't know if the water is hot enough to heat it up anymore. Doesn't look like it, maybe. How hot is the water? No, it's lukewarm. Alright, I'll have to save this for a future stream. Maybe when I have coffee, or it may just light up on its own. Anyway, this turns light, and it also has a J.R.R. Tolkien, I guess, rune in the middle, surrounded by the writing on the ring. So that's pretty neat. I'll have to heat that up. Oh, it's starting to show, just like ever so faintly, though. I wish I had hot water in here. Okay, so what else did I get? So this is pretty darn cool. This is recipes from the world of Lord of the Rings and world of Tolkien. So I'm pretty excited. A couple of those recipes in there. Let me just check out here. What do you have? Here's potato and cabbage fritter. Traveler's all-in-one breakfast in a pan. For those of you who are straying near a mountain that used to have a tower on top of it. Baron's potato bread. That's a recipe from the Elder Days and the Silmarillion. Spiced pear and cranberry muffins. Beorn's honey cakes. If you ever wanted to make Beorn's honey cakes, they are in Lord of the Rings Online. If you play a Beorning, you can actually make them. But this is the book, Recipes from the World of Tolkien. That is from my significant other, Basilla, and that was a kind of a surprise gift. I told her about it about 3 days before Christmas, and it ended up arriving, so plenty of time. Also got the new 2022 Lord of the Rings calendar. It's showing an intense reflection of the game here. Maybe I can kind of angle it. There we go. There we go. Alright, so that's 2022. A bit of a watercolor design for this one. Whoa, whoa. This is like trying to do things in a mirror here, so I'm not very good at it. But, yeah, there's watercolor designs for that one, so pretty neat stuff there. And this is really cute. This is a Lord of the Rings Little People set, Fisher Price. Sorry about the glare. I'm not sure if I can do anything about that. There we go. There we go. So, little Fisher Price toys. Very, very cute stuff. You've got Frodo, Gandalf, Legolas, Aragorn, Gimli, and Arwen as part of this set. It's kind of a limited edition for collectors, in and out of the picture. So, very cool. Entirely unplanned. These gifts all came from various sources, and they just kind of collaborated to make Christmas pretty Lord of the Rings-ish. And this was before, these were picked up before I even started streaming, so it's not like, oh, now you're streaming, you get these cool things. No, it's actually, it's just I got cool things, so I'm pretty excited about that. In case you're wondering, I got a couple things in the background here. I've got my map of Middle-earth behind me. I've also got this book. This is the Atlas of Middle-earth. That's another prop. Very, very, very cool thing. Kind of gives you a little view of the world. This is one of the pages, as if it was a globe, as if Middle-earth was kind of a, on a globe. So that's neat. Let's see here. What do we have? Oh, this is the Lonely Mountain. Kind of a map. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it close enough for you to see it, but map of the Lonely Mountain with all the extra chambers and everything written in it. So that's pretty cool right there. And several other neat things. Map of Orthanc, Saruman's Tower, and all the little side panels, like what's on each floor. So pretty cool stuff there. So, and the other prop that I have is kind of one of my treasures. I have a first edition Silmarillion copy from 1977 when it was published by Christopher Tolkien and Guy Gabriel Kay. I do have that. I also have this. I was able to find it. This is an eBay find from several years ago, and this is the complete Silmarillion, complete and unabridged box set CDs. So if I'm ever on a really long trip and I'm kind of tired of listening to, music, which is kind of a rare thing, but that could be something cool to bring along. So those are some props and some Christmas gifts. So welcome to the stream. I am Steely Dad. You can follow me on Twitch, or you can check out my YouTube page. My YouTube page is Steely, and then a space, Dad, and then a space, 2021. So perhaps my moderator can link it onto my page. You can also follow me at SteelyDad2021, all one word. You can email me if you have questions about the stream at SteelyDad2021@gmail.com as well. So, for those who followed since the last stream, thank you very much. I got 3 new followers, I believe. So, Ali123. Oh, hey, Ali123. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for following. So I have Household Pet also followed a little while ago. Cass M. Gilchrist followed a little while ago. And yeah, so welcome to the stream. Hope you enjoy it. The stream, just for those little preview, it's a pretty laid back stream. I'm playing on the Treebeard server, which is a legendary server. It currently has a level cap of 50, so it's all the older content from Lord of the Rings Online. And January 5th, the Mines of Moria expansion releases, so we're all looking forward to breaking down those gates and getting into Moria. So the stream is kind of a laid back, watch a little gameplay. I'm more into this kind of the scenery and the journey than, kind of worried too much about getting too in depth into everything. We do read the quests as we pick them up, so that's another thing. And I like kind of showing how beautiful the game is. It stood up pretty well even after 14 years. So, all right. So without any further ado, I'll pull back. These are the adventures of Jubilos Narthropple, my Hobbit Burglar, named after one of my favorite Pathfinder characters. So we're in Bree-land. We're going to start this in Bree-land, just leaving the Buckland Gate. I've got 3 quests. One is a meal for men, so we have to defeat bears and collect their haunches, defeat boars and collect their shanks, collect wild mushrooms for the Envy of the 4 Farthings quest, and trophies for the walls, collect pristine bear carcasses, collect pristine boar heads, collect pristine wolf carcasses, and collect coarse bear hides. So those are things we're going to be doing. So, off we go. So, in the first few streams, we went around the Shire. There's a foraging bear. He's going to fall victim to my knife here. And we had a nice tour of the Shire. We pretty much completed all 75 quests in the Shire and then some. Do I need anything from wolves? Carcasses. Alright, so sneaky this wolf here. And that was a lot of fun. We kind of tripped down memory lane for some. A real eye-opener for others into the beauty of the game. The Shire has kind of stayed the same for a long time. They haven't changed much, and it shows a lot of the original design. And the improvements that the game has made. They've added a few things. First of all, I should have mentioned this. This is something that I haven't really talked about in previous streams, but Lord of the Rings Online used to be only available on a 32-bit client, so things were limited. You know, I remember when I started this game, I think we were on DirectX 7 or 8, so that kind of gives you an idea of gameplay and time. I'll riddle that bear. So recently, I believe it was 2 years ago, we went to a 64-bit client, and the game looks a lot prettier. It certainly does. As well, the developers over the years have added some features to it, so there are actually, like, I guess, as a Hobbit, I can kind of get lost in the scenery now. Like, you can see me hiding in the hedges here, picking mushrooms for that one quest. And I almost get obscured. There's just a lot more greenery and shrubs and grasses and whatnot. So they've really done a good job kind of fleshing it out. I think a lot of these, maybe I was just playing on really low graphics, but I know for sure they did do a revamp and added a lot of new things. Now, what's attacking me here? A slug. Ugh. Attacked by a slug. No salt on me at all. Alright, escaped from that. So yes, so a very beautiful area. So now the Shire is basically a collection of small villages with quests in each hub. Another slimy slug here. Let me riddle. I told the slug a riddle. So what kind of riddle would baffle a slug? And what kind of riddle am I going to ask you? Let me think about that one, because I promised you viewers a riddle per stream, so see if anyone can get it. But I have to think of a good one first. Now, where was I? Yeah, so the Shire. The Shire was a bunch of villages. There was some quests around it. The geography was mainly the same, just cute, more cute than hobbits. So now that we move out of the Shire, it's kind of like, you know, Aragorn taking the hobbits into the wild. The area around Bree. Bree-land is very centric. There's Bree town, There aren't as many quests running right out of Bree-town as there used to be. It's a little bit of a different feel to Bree-land now. But Bree-town is still kind of the center of the center of activity. If you're playing this as well, and just to reiterate, this is a massively multiplayer online video game, so an MMO. There are a lot of other players playing at. Actually, let's just see how many players are on right now. So, non-anonymous, we've got 200 people online right now. Again, this is the legendary server, so it's not even the full server. You can really get up to about 500 in the big servers, but yeah. So in Bree, you can actually run into a lot of players. The crafting hall is a really fun area to get into there. Oh, I just ticked off another slug. Oh my. It's too bad I don't have a quest for slugs. I've deeded all of this, or have I? I don't know if I've deeded all the slugs in the Shire. It's a Shire deed, so... no, but that's all of the mushrooms. Okay, so we can leave the swamp and go hunting overland again. So, getting back to my original story. The Shire was, you know, the rather cute, charming, lots of little areas. Bree-land is very, very wide open. Just trees and everything. Landscape. But there are quite a few very cool and important locations in Bree-land. The Rose Garden, how is everyone? I agree. How is everyone? How was your Christmas? You had a Christmas? How was it? Did you get anything really cool? Did you get anything very funny? Traveling this Christmas was a bit of an issue, I guess, for a lot of us because of the pandemic. We didn't do much travel. We just kind of stayed home and went to immediate relatives. So, let's see here. Bree-land. So right now, I'll open up the map here. Right now, this is Bree-land. Okay. We are in Western Bree. As you can see on the big map, Buckland is to the south. Buckland is still kind of technically, well, it's Hobbit populated. So the Brandy Bucks found, well, actually he was an old buck before he was a Brandy Buck, but the Brandy Bucks founded Buckland. Brandy Hall is the main settlement there, and kind of a town hall, and it's kind of a colony away from the Shire. So that's Buckland there, and then Buckland, of course, is on the edge of the Old Forest, which we'll be hopefully heading into this evening. Then we've got the Barrow Downs. Okay, now the Barrow Downs factor very much into the book, not so much in the movie. I don't think anything is taken from the Barrow except for a couple of lines that Treebeard speaks in the extended edition that kind of refreshed my memory. Then you've got Bree-town itself. Now, Bree is kind of the four corners of the Shire here, because if you head south from Bree-land, south is the main road down to, you go down to Rohan, then you go down to Gondor. The road south is the kind of the main thoroughfare. And then you've got the Great East Road. So the Great East Road is the road that the Fellowship takes. So we'll get into that after. And there's also a road north that eventually leads past Trestlebridge, a little town in Lord of the Rings Online, to the North Downs and the old North Kingdom of Arnor, where Fornost was the capital of the Old Kingdom, but unfortunately now it's just a ghost town populated by ghosts and orcs. So, very cool place. Hope we get there. But if you do head east following the Fellowship, you get to Bree, and then you leave, and there's the Midgewater Marshes. They make an appearance, and then we go to the Lone Lands, which is where Weathertop is. So, kind of a little briefer there. We'll kind of take a look all over Bree-land. I'm going to try to concentrate more on the Path of the Fellowship, though. I think that'll be more interesting. So, but first, bears. And I've got an interesting story about Christmas myself. So, now I'm a parent. I am actually a dad. Steely Dad is actually a dad, and I have a 15-year-old son, soon to be 16, who's never actually seen the Lord of the Rings movies. He never watched them. I don't really like to force anyone into kind of doing anything that they don't really, or they're not really interested in at the time. If you want to play a sport, I have a lot of interests. I play a lot of sports. I play baseball and I play football and whatnot. But just because I do, I don't believe that, someone else should have to. So it's much more fun if you decide to watch it yourself. Long story short, we watched The Lord of the Rings this Christmas. We actually watched all 3 of the extended editions, 2 on one day, 1 on another. And it was the first time he saw those movies, and I'm kind of glad we waited, because he's 15, he gets it now, he really enjoyed them, so that was kind of a nice Christmas treat. And of course, I enjoy watching the movies, obviously, as much as any other Lord of the Rings fan. So there's another bear. And then after the Lord of the Rings series, we actually got into the Hobbit movies. And so I will say this, and we talked about it, my son and I, and how after we marathon the Hobbit movies, we actually watched them yesterday, and we watched all of them, all 3 of them, back to back to back, the extended version for all of them. So yes, indeed. So the Hobbit movies are fun. He saw them in the theater, but he was very, very young when they came out. He was like 6 and 7 and 8. So watching them now at 15, he had forgotten obviously a lot of it, but he really enjoyed them again. And when ranking the when asked to rank the movies, like which one he liked the most, we had a chat at dinner tonight, and well, maybe he can type them in. Swimmeroo! So what was your favorite movie of the Lord of the Rings 1, 2, and 3, and then the Hobbit 1, 2, and 3? What was your favorite? If you had to pick just one to escape to a desert island, or a deserted island too, with, what would it be? And I'll ask the same question to the Rose Garden, whose birthday is today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rose Garden. Happy birthday to you. The Two Towers. An interesting fact. I don't know if he's watching, but what do I still need? Bear haunches and boar shanks. Nothing about wolves. So bears and boars. So my good friend, I'll give his Lord of the Rings Online character from years ago, Bermond. He was part of our mighty band of misfits kinship on Gladden server. That was his actual favorite movie, and it was also his first. He didn't start with the Fellowship of the Ring. He started with the Two Towers. So you do share a like of that movie with him. Now, what about you, Rose Garden? I just finished singing you a happy birthday. I think I deserve an answer. Question that must be answered. So what would you say is your favorite movie out of the Lord of the Rings movies and the Hobbit trilogy? For her, it's the Fellowship of the Ring. That's awesome. Hey, Basilla! Welcome to the chat. Just dropping in. And the Hobbit. You like the Desolation of Smaug. Interesting. Alright, who else we got out there? Let's get some opinions here. And maybe get some chatter around these movies while we're killing bears in Bree-land here. And boars, I suppose. So, anyone else who may be following right now, following the stream, if you had to pick one movie from The Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, and Basilla, you can answer this one too because you like The Hobbit, but which one? Number 1, number 2, or number 3? And I'd like to hear some opinions here. Sooner or later, the Rose Garden, we're going to get a poll up here. Sooner or later. You know it, I know it. The first one, eh, Basilla? Yeah, that's an interesting fact about that movie is I saw that movie 13 times in the theater. 13 times. Now, some people may say loser. I say fashaw. I actually really enjoyed that. Let's see here. It's almost there. Yeah, so that is definitely a favorite of mine. I think I was making up for lost time because when so interesting, well, maybe not so interesting, but interesting for me, and maybe interesting for you too. Back when the original trilogy came out, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, I was young, and I was just kind of freshly in university, and I was kind of starving student, so I didn't really have a chance to go and see these movies in the theater. I think I saw Fellowship once, and I think I saw the Two Towers twice, and then I saw Return of the King twice as well. Oh, we leveled up again. There you go, level 16. Level 16. Oh, I got you, Rose Garden. Yep, soon almost there, actually. Yes, I now know to which you're speaking. Sorry, that was a timed release response, so... And it's really cool to actually chat with you guys while we're doing these quests, because sometimes it can get a little tedious slaying boar, slaying bears, but we're almost there. One more bear shank. So the first one, and Rose Garden, I really like the Fellowship of the Ring as well. I also had a kind of a change of opinion for the books, because when I first started reading, this is good setting up piece. So let me just interrupt my story. My swimmeroo one there, and my loving son, got himself his PC. First big computer for Christmas this year, so maybe he'll join me on here. Maybe he'll see yet another Hobbit. Maybe he won't, but at least he'll be in the stream, so this is good. So we got to go bring these quests and hand them in. So the first book, as I was saying, I've read the Fellowship of the Ring. I've read the trilogy many times. I'm currently rereading it yet again. I try to reread them at least once a year, and I'm in the Fellowship right now. Where am I in the Fellowship? Let me see here. It has Solitaire. Excellent. Okay, so this is a meal for men here. I'll get into my story in a moment. Adso will be pleased with this delivery. We will salt and smoke the meat. Salted pork. And it will serve as the center of our food for men within the inn. Thank you for taking the time to collect this meat. Here, you've earned this reward. Alright, thank you very much. And look at all these bountiful fare. You certainly held up the end of your bargain very well. I should do the same. The ovens at the inn will smell like the finest ovens in Old Shire. This is a fine day. Alright. Let's see here. The Rose Garden says, if you're a loser, then so am I. For an assignment in high school, I did a comparative essay in grade 11 on the Hobbit Extended Edition and the book for people. Very cool. I kind of did something similar in film class at university just a couple of years ago. I actually went back and took a few courses trying to get a different degree, and I actually needed 6 courses in the arts, so film was my choice. So. Alright, so trophies for the walls. These are excellent examples. I'm certain that the taxidermist will make these into 5. I find them as befitting a lodge. Adso will be quite pleased. Here's your payment. Yay! Alright, we're good. So these... Oh, now he has a follow-up. Triumvirate Ragwort. Sharing the load. Share the load. I must say I never expected the outpouring of generosity we have received. Certainly we have paid for the services we have been given, but the harvest is so great that we have no means to transport our goods to Adso's camp. I must ask you a small favor. Just outside of Brandy Hall to the south, there is a stable where I've seen Tolly Brockhouse, the local woodcutter, speaking with folks. I am certain that he would be willing to help. Could you speak with him and see if he can spare a wagon for the trip to Adso's? Let me know what he said when you're done. Okay, so that's our next quest. Here we read the quests. Just remember, let's see here. We read these quests and we do them. So, yes, in the Fellowship. Where am I? Where am I in the Fellowship? I think they're just about set to leave Crick Hollow. So they're about where we are in the stream. That's interesting. Life mirrors art here. So anyway, reading that, I used to kind of get bogged down by the Fellowship, and I used to tell people, if you can get by the first book, maybe, you can... I know it gets more exciting after the first book. And then one of my high school buddies actually said, you know what, Steely Dad, 2021, he said this back in 1999. So he said, I really enjoyed The Fellowship of the Ring. I really enjoyed the book. There's lots of great lines, like when they're sneaking out of the Shire, how it says, they were so stealthy and quiet as if all three were wearing magic rings. And, some kind of mystical lines like that. It really does make a difference, kind of, if you, reread something, you get more out of it. Maybe you pick up something you missed before. So there's 3 people with rings there. We'll talk to Tolly. Share the load. What does he say? He says,
Is there something I can do?
Trumrick Ragwort needs a wagon. I suppose I can spare a wagon and a couple of mules to share the load toward the camp. Trumrick is a good fellow and will surely return them when he's done. Alright, with the trouble we are seeing in the Old Forest, it seems unlikely that I will have need of all my wagons in the foreseeable future. Tell Trumrick that I will send along a driver, 2 mules, and a wagon by sundown on the morrow. I should expect that he can have it back to me within a week. And if you're looking to help her out around here, there's plenty to do. So, he has a follow-up. The Woodcutter's Tale.
Please, stay a moment.
So apparently, these are strange days. Most hobbits stay away from the Old Forest, but my living depends on it, and I've never had any problems till now. The forest creatures have all gone strange. I swear the tree roots themselves have moved to trip me up, and now I've sprained my ankle. Well, he looks like he's standing up just fine to me, but he still needs to collect some mushrooms. More mushrooms. They grow in the west part of the forest between the bonfire glade and Bald Hill. Also, please bring in some lumber from my seasoning pile. The pile is to the east past the bonfire glade and a little south. Oh my goodness, I haven't done this quest in years and years and years. I remember where that is, but and we need a bucket of sap, and that's on Bald Hill itself. So, my goodness, I believe it's been... I can't remember the last time I did these quests. So, okay, so we have 3 quest givers here.
Might I speak with you a moment?
Wolves in the Old Forest have always been something of a threat, so we got to cull the wolves. 12 wolves. All right, fair enough. The bats of the Old Forest have been a minor annoyance. 12 bats. Got to cull the bats. All right, and the bears. So wolves, bats, and bears in the Old Forest. 12 bears in the Old Forest. All right, simple enough. And first, we're going to go back and we're going to turn in this sharing the load quest to Trumrick Ragwort here. If you're just joining us, thanks for joining us. Hope you're enjoying the stream. We're talking Lord of the Rings movies a little bit, and possibly books. Talking about Christmas. Anybody else get anything Lord of the Ringsy for Christmas? Feel free to chime in. Or if you got anything really cool for Christmas, speak up. Like, say for example, you got stamps with your cat on them. That's a pretty exciting Christmas gift. Random, you say? Perhaps not. Yeah, so anything cool you may have got for Christmas. Let's see here. You know what I'm getting for my birthday? Yes, yes, yes. I was a contributor to one of those gifts, and why don't you tell everybody actually what you're getting? That's a pretty cool gift. So if you don't mind sharing, that's a good one. And Trumrick Ragwort totally will help us. This is wonderful news. We will begin preparing the crates for loading and should get on the road by morning. We truly could not have done this without you. Please take this. It should cover the cost of travels. I'm concerned for Tolly, though. What trouble could there be in the Old Forest? Oh my, another quest. What does he want to do now?
Have some tea.
Oh, okay. So Mr. Haybank, meet whatever. So talk to Adso Haybank at Adso's camp. We'll get to Adso. He's got a pretty cool camp. There's a lot of things. And there you go. What a great gift. The Rose Garden says, I'm getting a canvas print of the Lonely Mountain map. That is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful gift. I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of jealous. So let's see here. What do we have? Where are these fellows? Oh, we have a couple of things to do here. One more. Rollo and Doderick. This was from the other night, I believe. And it was one of the quests that leads into the Old Forest, so... Anyway, so like I was saying, thanks for joining the stream. This is the first stream since December I want to say 22nd, I think. It's been a little while, you know, took the holidays off, didn't play much Lotro over the holidays. Must admit I'm getting excited for Moria. I do not fear to go into those mines, I actually quite enjoy it. Alright, Saradoc Brandybuck says...
Just a moment.
Maggot's farm hands sent you about Rollo, then the boys did not heed my advice and followed their own wills. The fools. The fools!
Take a moment of your time.
Alright. It's strange that you should be asking after Rollo, especially at this moment. The tweens came to see me upset by the lack of effort the Bounders are doing here in Buckland. With regard to the strange big folk moving about, I told them the Bounders were doing all they could to keep that unsavory lot out of Buckland, but the pair were adamant about being heard and kept yammering on about the Old Forest. I warned them to stay clear of the forest because Tolly, who we're doing jobs for, our woodcutter, had said the things there were queerer than ever. Strange things. Tweens can be foolish, and I fear that the pair have been more foolish than normal. Doderick knows his way to Bald Hill and not much further. If you're going to be looking for Rollo, you'd best start with Doderick, and you might as well tell him that I'm waiting for him too. Alright, so we're a messenger, and it's time to go into the Old Forest. Alright, we have several quests in there, and that'll get me talking, because if there's one area that I'm pretty proud of my knowledge of, it's the Old Forest. Despite not going in there for so long. I think part of the reason why I don't... oh yes, let's see here. Oh yeah, Alicia. That is what I'm getting with the card you guys got me. Yes, yes indeed. So, I don't know. Hopefully Basilla is with us. We did have an incident over Christmas. My significant other developed a kidney stone issue while trying to pass them. Christmas night. It started after midnight. Well, basically when Christmas Eve crossed over into Christmas morning. Oh my goodness, what an ordeal for that poor girl. What is this? A good spot to place a jar. Oh, this is for that other quest. I shouldn't have done this, but Unnatural Fury. Maybe I'll get around to it. Anyway, so back to the Old Forest. And I'll leave the kidney stone story for after. So in the olden days, before the Bree revamp and the splitting up of Bree into kind of a logical progression. Whoa! Okay. That is a big wolf. That is a monstrous wolf. Let's see here. Sorry about the interruption. But this wolf really kind of... The music turned foul. Wow. Okay. Things have changed in the Old Forest since the olden days. Anyway, since the old days when the game was kind of young, the Old Forest has gone. Okay, these good places. It's kind of gone as an option. It used to be that you really kind of had to do the quests in the Old Forest, just to kind of level up enough to move on from Bree-land. But nowadays it's more of an option. You can, and here's another one. Okay, well this time, buddy, I was ready for you. So here you go. I don't have the riddle up. Just an aside here, in case you were wondering, I am playing for this stream purposes on normal difficulty. So it's more of a kind of a walk and talk and storytell rather than a serious playthrough. You know, with some hardcore difficulty action. So, oh, good. I'm glad to hear that update. Thanks for the update, Basilla. So, and I do hope for both of our sakes that you're feeling better soon. So, yes. So, the Old Forest. So, again, it's an option now. It's not really a necessity. If you decide to go the way of Buckland, you can do these quests as a way to get to, you know, up to about level 18 before you hit Adso's camp. You can also start on the other side of Bree, near Bree Town. I don't even know if I'm going the right way. I think I am. So much for knowing my way around the Old Forest and being proud of it. but yeah, so you could have gone to Adso's camp, and there's an area just outside of Bree where there's a lot of quests involving brigands. So this is a bit of a change of pace. I go that way 9 times out of 10. So this is a different story. So as you saw, maybe just a second ago, I did bring up my map of Bree-land. That is a new thing. There never used to be a map of the Old Forest. The Old Forest finally got its old map not too many years ago, and I guess it was just due to popular demand. It was actually something to try to feel your way around this Old Forest and to try to figure out what's going on and where. There are a lot of locations within the forest that you need to explore. I believe there are 2 location subquests within the Old Forest. One is flowers, and the flowers of the Old Forest. So you have to find 8 flowers that are kind of scattered all over the place here, that are growing. And the other deed is just explore the Old Forest itself. So you need to kind of just search around and find different locales. I believe there are only 5, and we'll touch upon them. So, but first, bears. We are going to cull some bears here. So, I've actually gone and entered the Old Forest at night. It's a little bit different at night than it is during the day. There are more evil things, I guess. Let's see here. So, more evil things about, like, wolves and I guess maybe bats. I'm not sure about spiders, but I know there's an increase in wolf spawn. At least there used to be. I could stand corrected, but that was one thing that I did notice. And of course, it gets misty and it's dark and it's forbidding and it's everything that would have happened in the movies, except they skipped it. So here's a kind of an interesting topic, off-game dialogue here. As I had mentioned, Lord of the Rings Online draws more of its material from the books than the movies. It came out, of course, after all 3 Lord of the Rings movies came out, so a lot of the there's a lot of scenery that's kind of inspired by the movies of Peter Jackson, and but as far as locales and the way the legendary story plays out, there's a lot going on in Lord of the Rings Online from the book. So, the Old Forest being one. So, in the book, as we kind of go a little deeper here, now, I believe, you know what, I'm going to try not to cheat, I'm not going to try not to go into my map here, so I'm going to follow the trail. I'm a little far off the beaten path, I'm actually kind of skipping ahead a little bit, but I'm trying to find the river Withywindle, which runs through the Old Forest. I found Muddyfoot's Hill. There's a head of cabbage lying over there, but I think we'll ignore it. And a Bark Shredder Sentinel solo. Maybe we'll just sneak by him, eh? Look at that, Burglar. Oh, he kind of saw me, but I don't think he's going to stop me, so that's fine. So, in the books, what happens is Frodo, of course, gets the Crick Hollow, and then he's having a bit of a nervous breakdown about what he's going to do. He needs to separate from his friends. He does not want to take his friends into danger with him. So he decides, well, I'm going to have to tell them anyway, so I'm going to tell them. What Frodo doesn't know is his friends have already figured it out. They know his plan, they know he's got to run away. They even know about the ring. And Frodo's astonished. He just doesn't even know what to say, and then they all laugh at him and they say, well, Samwise was one of the chief investigators, and until he got caught by Gandalf trimming the hedge at 9 p.m. at night, and he got caught and then told to go along with Frodo on his adventure. But Merry and Pippin made their own choice to go. Sorry about this here, just obscured by foliage. And so they're at the thing, and then The reason that they decide to take the Old Forest is because who would expect anyone to go into this dreadful place for fun? I mean, aside from us and our little Hobbit burglar quests here. Here's one of the flowers. So I'm not going to really make this an instructional video, but if you want to know where this one is, it is right down at the Withywindle, and right at the end of the road. We're in Withywindle Crossing. The flower is right in this corner here, So Frodo decides, okay, I'm going to leave. I'm going to take off. I'm going into the Old Forest. Fatty Bolger is terrified. He said, you'll never have any luck. You'll never come out. And Merry actually says, no, we're fine. We'll go into the forest. We'll go in during the day when the trees are sleepy, because, of course, the trees move. So they decide to attempt it and just kind of take a shortcut and then come out of the road, come out of the forest onto the road at some point and continue their quest. Well, that doesn't happen because the forest actually will not let them go to where they wanted to. It changes around them, it shifts, and it forces them further and further into the forest, into the heart of the forest, where the dangerous things really are. So that's an interesting book tale there here. And all right, so we're going to head back up here. Let me just check the map. Yes, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, so so they end up in the Old Forest, and in the movies they decide to skip the Old Forest altogether. Basically, what happens is they get to Crick Hollow, and then they cross the bridge in the big scene where the ring wraiths are chasing them, and they end up, like going almost straight from there right into Bree. No explanation, no anything. They end up at the door and get asked by the gate guard, what's your business here? And you get the old we're hobbits from the Shire, our business is our own line. So that is how that progresses in the movie. In the book, however, what happens is as we said, they get kind of lured further and further toward the heart of the forest. They end up meeting Tom Bombadil, a character who also appears just in the books, does not appear in the movie, although a few of his lines, if you're familiar enough with them, are used by Treebeard in the Two Towers Extended Edition movie. Specifically in the scene where Merry and Pippin get trapped in the tree. So Treebeard talks to the enveloping tree as if it was Old Man Willow, the tree that actually swallows up Merry and Pippin in the book. So interesting little Easter eggs there if you kind of know where to look for them. I am not lost, I promise you. I'm just adventuring and exploring here in the Old Forest. I found my way to the Shifting Wood. Maybe I got directed here. Maybe I did. Imagine that. Actually, I believe there is another flower here, and that is why I'm here. Yes, flower number 2. So, for those of you who are keeping track at home, this is checkmark flower number 2, Cordophoneth's flower, and it is part of a task. So, where are we? We're in the Shifting Wood. This is the area of the Old Forest that we're in on the map. Okay, you get there by going to the Withywindle and going up this long route and winding, and then you end up there. You can come out, and I'm being attacked by a wolf. Alright. You can come out back at the Withywindle, but we're going to kind of detour, go back to where we came in, and go after a couple other things for the quest that we have to do here. So. Okay, so back to the story. So in the books, they go through the Old Forest, and then after they meet Tom Bombadil, they finally find some refuge from the madness of the Old Forest. And Tom lets them go at the edge of the Barrow Downs, which is another part of Bree-land. I'll bring up the big map here since we're in a safe space. So the Barrow Downs, as you can see, are on the eastern edge of the Old Forest. You can actually travel through them, go through there, and end up at the Barrow Downs. I believe I'm going to come in from the road, so it's a bit of a different story, although, keeping with the stream theme, maybe we'll come in from the stream. So Tom lets them go there, and then they get into some misadventures in the Barrow Downs, which we'll talk to when we get to that point. So let's talk about the Lord of the Rings Online and the Old Forest. So the Old Forest basically had very limited quests back when the game first launched. There was no map. You had to basically feel your way about on your own, as I was saying before, and it was very complex. Like there's an area, even if you look at the map, where there's a passage there, and you can't tell from looking at the map there's actually a passage there. So I'll bring up the map in a moment here. For those of you who have just joined us, welcome to the stream. We're just taking a casual stroll through the Old Forest, and look at that, there's a glowing quest item up there. Doing some quests from Bree-land. Once again, I'll reiterate, I haven't done these quests in a long time, so this is both interesting, a little trip down memory lane, and a little bit confusing, as I don't really mess around too much in the Old Forest anymore, except to get the items that I need. So here's the wood pile. So we needed to do this for the woodcutter's tale, collect the seasoned lumber. So in Lord of the Rings Online, as we were talking about, the Old Forest didn't have a whole lot of quests. There are more things to do here now. These 3 quests, I believe, I can't really remember if they're new. I seem to remember there was some quests that killed bears and wolves and bats. I'm not sure if this is the same kind of progression for those, but I guess we'll see. Now, we're going to go and get yet another flower, because it's up in Bree-land. Alright, there we go. Let's thin out a few of these bats here, and get shocked at the same time. Alright. Darkness falls in the Old Forest. We are adventuring. We're thinning out the number of bats. I believe we still need 3 wolves as well. We need a bucket of sap, which we're going to get after this flower and these bats. And we have to find Doderick Brandybuck, who, not so coincidentally, is actually guarding the bucket of flour. So, we'll kill a lot of birds here with this stuff. Now, one addition that they made to the Old Forest is, I remember there was a quest where you had to get in. There is a spider den that's hidden in here. There was always a spider den. But I believe they've added a few new quests and even a new mob. There is a large spider, yuck, that kind of traipses around that area and, you know, creates problems for luckless travelers like myself. But that is now actually a quest item, so very interesting. Let's see here. We're going the wrong way. We need to go this way. So I will admit that these this Old Forest map is kind of coming in useful. Ah, Ferox salutes Jubilost. Where are you, Ferox? Like, there he is. All right. Let's give him a bow, eh? All right, there we go. Nice of people to say hello. So, Dragon Fist. That's a cool kin name. I like that name. All right, so we are almost at the flower. I'm gonna sneak. I'm gonna use my Hobbit stealth here. Look at this go. Sneak around these bats. They can't smell me. They can't see me. They're blind. I mean, talk about taking advantage of things. And there we go. There's the flower, and that's where my friend Ferox was. He's just getting the flower. Oh, no, we don't need to call the boar. We need to get the flower. So Rustthon's flower is here. I just picked it up, and I'll show you on the map. So it is right in this area. You come into the Old Forest, you go kind of around the bend, and it's right in this area right there. There's a whole load of bats all surrounding it. A bit easy to get to, though. Yes, so Old Forest. And another thing is now here's something. Eventually we will get to. I'm not sure if we'll get to it tonight, but we may get to it in a few. We will get to it in a future stream. Oh, really, Swimmeroo! I am very happy for you. Congratulations on the new computer. I'm glad that you're watching. I'm glad that everything works for you. That's perfect. That's awesome. So, let's see here. Moving on. So, Tom Bombadil. Tom Bombadil is the subject of more Lord of the Rings Online discussions than... just excuse me here. I just want to see what's going on. Thing. All right. So, yes, Tom Bombadil. Topic of discussion. So, Tom Bombadil does not appear in the movies, as we've said before. He's in the books. He's also in the game. And an ongoing topic of discussion in the world chat of the game is why Tom Bombadil isn't in the books or anything. Tom Bombadil, I mean, from a I guess a scholar's perspective, is kind of he's a plot tool for the book. There's kind of a bit of a comic relief. There's also some other aspects to Tom that we'll get into perhaps in a future stream where we philosophically talk about Tom. But there's a reason that Tom is in the book. He's there for a reason. He's there for more of a literary reason that just never seems to translate very well into a theatrical reason. For those of you who may be lucky enough to have a copy or who've seen it, up to a certain point. Okay, here's Bald Hill. All right, we're here. Tom also does not appear in the 1977 Ralph Bakshi animated with actual, there's some sheets with, like, you actually see people moving. It's this animation where they film real people and they project them into the movies. Years before Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But it was kind of revolutionary at the time. Whether it was a success or not, well, if you're a fan of the film, you would say yes, and it is a progressive, I guess, concept as far as a film history point of view. But Tom wasn't in that film either, and that was an animated movie. So go figure. We'll talk about it in a moment. So Uncle Saradoc is waiting for me. That bodes ill. I wish Rollo would hurry along. Cannot leave until he returns. We were chasing a brigand through here. We saw him sneaking through the gate and thought we'd best do the Bounder's job for them. Well, I've been doing the Bounder's job for them basically since we started the game, so why not? I confess that I lost my nerve as we crested this hill, and I saw the full scope of the forest. Rollo is a different sort, though, always comfortable to wander through these winding trails. So there's an abandoned cottage along the Withy Windle, southeast of here. He made mention of heading that way, but that seems like hours ago. Maybe you could find him there and tell him to hurry on back. Sure. So we'll go find Rollo. And this is one of the items for a quest here. Collect a bucket of maple sap. We've tapped this maple. The sap is ours. Okay, so we need one more wolf, and then to find Rollo Maggot, and that will be the end of the introductory quest. Then we kind of have to leave here. So we need a wolf. Gotta find a wolf. So Tom Bombadil. So getting back to him. In the video game, people were thrilled to find Tom in the video game, and he was actually in the Lord of the Rings online here, and he's actually quite the great character, good voice actor, very pleasant sounding. Whenever you talk to him, he'd do a "Hey do, Mary do, me hearties" kind of voice, and he was a lot of fun to say or to visit. He was also part of the plot in a couple of things. There's a wolf. All right, let's take this wolf out. So this is back in the Shifting Wood, and I just did something very sneaky, and I'll show you on the map in a moment. So, that wolf did not count. Oh, because it's not in the Western Old Forest, I'm out of the purple. Okay, so what I was going to show you on the map here, I'll hide the purple for a second. Okay, right here is Bald Hill. Here's where the sap was. We kind of came south of the hill, and there's a line of trees here. There is actually nothing here stopping you from going up and down the hill. These line of trees, they're kind of just an illusion. You can actually pass through them and head back up to Bald Hill. So a little secret there, if you're journeying through the old forest, you can always find a way up and down Bald Hill right there. Now, let's just look into this here. And we'll see where old Rollo Maggot is. Where is this abandoned cottage? It's along the Withy Windle. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to kill a wolf, and then we're going to leave, and then we're going to come back to this area. Actually, maybe we'll just find a wolf and then head back down south. So Now, Lord of the Rings Online made Tom Bombadil kind of an integral part of. He appears not only just in the game as a character that you can encounter, but he's actually part of the epic storyline. You have to visit him at one point. So that was kind of neat too. They not only included him, but they really included him by making him indispensable, which is very, very appropriate. So for those fans of the book, we all really enjoyed that. Now, in recent years, they've changed Tom's voice. I really don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. This game was blessed with extraordinary voice actors when it first came out. I believe that everything was just perfect. But since then, we've had major character changes as far as voice acting goes. Elrond in Rivendell, who we haven't captured yet, or haven't talked to yet, haven't made it to Rivendell. We're still only in the Old Forest. His voice was changed recently, and he speaks in a much different tone than he used to. Hey, there's another Old Forester, and he's got a wolf. I need that wolf. M'lady. I'll take the wolf. I'll wait for. Okay, I'm gonna track down this wolf. They changed Tom Bombadil's voice. They changed Elrond's voice. They changed Bilbo. Bilbo used to look completely differently than he did now. And, I'm not one of those people who believes, nothing ever changes for the better, it always changes for the worse. No. Some of these changes are amazing. I like having this map in the Old Forest. I really do. However, the voice acting changes. I have not yet met one where I can say, whoa, that is a much more suitable voice than they used to have for Elrond or for Tom Bombadil or for anyone else that mattered. I really haven't found any kind of reason why they should have changed the voice acting. Conspiracy theorists may argue that the game itself maybe lost some voices while they were messing with the code and adding new things in, so they had to record new voices. I have a sneaking suspicion that the voice of Tom Bombadil, all he does now is go like, hey ho, hidey ho, and it's kind of wind in the willow. It kind of sounds like the fellow who Court of the Rings, who does a weekly broadcast of Court of the Rings. It kind of sounds like it might be his voice. Maybe they kind of, hey Court, you want to film a little voice acting and insert. So anyway. That's a totally different matter, but I don't believe the change in Tom's voice was for the better. I miss the old "Hey do, Mary do." I really miss that. So, just in case you're wondering. All right, so Tully Brockhouse, we're back. My thanks, friend, for all your. What's this? The sap. It's already gone bad, and my seasoned wood. It's rotted, and these mushrooms. They're poisonous. Friend, you can't be blamed, but all this, it's useless. Well, that's not very nice.
Might I have a word with you?
Alright, so all the things you gathered from me are useless, rotten, and ruined. Something queer is going on with the animals all upset and the forest seeming, well, more awake than usual. There's a wise old hobbit, a forester, who oft camps away into the old forest. Look for him beyond Old Muddyfoot's hill, which you can find. I know where he is. So Gilliman Brandybuck is the fellow we've got to talk to. I'm worried. We had to burn part of this forest when it got too uppity. Ooh, great word there. Uppity years back. But this is far worse than it was before. If the Bounders have to start another fire, they might destroy the whole forest. And then, where would we be? We'll go talk to old Gilliman there, so. Let's turn these in. There's howls from the wolves. There's some forest bats.
Just a moment.
There's some bears. And a follow-up. Okay, where's this taking us? Forest spiders. Giant spiders are a menace to everyone. Yes, they are. In my house, even. No giant spiders. But there have until recently been only a few in the Old Forest. Now their webs can be found in many places, and we're worried that they may soon spread to endanger everyone. So we've got to defeat spiders in the western and southern Old Forest. Okay, no problem. I am happy to exterminate spiders anytime, except in my house, where I usually ask someone else to do it. So, back into the Old Forest. So we've got to find Rollo Maggot, we've got to talk to Gilliman Brandybuck, and we have to defeat spiders. Easy peasy. Thanks for joining the stream. I'm just going to kind of plug the numbers a little bit as far as, give you some information on where you can kind of find more details about the stream or contact me. You can always contact me if you have any questions about the stream, or if I told a story that you really wanted me to either repeat again or perhaps want to know more about. You can email me at steelydad2021@gmail.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at steelydad2021. That's at Twitter. And I also have streams posted to YouTube. So if you missed anything, maybe missed a story and you want to go and check it out, please feel free. And thank you very much for joining. If you like what you see, go ahead and follow. It's very appreciated. I'm having a lot of fun doing these streams, and I've heard a lot of good things about folks just kind of taking a trip down memory lane, or maybe hearing a story they hadn't heard before, so good stuff. Let's see here. So where are we going to go? We are going to go back up to Bald Hill, I think, and then go south. I think I already missed my mark, actually, but that's fine. So there's the Old Forest here. There's a couple of ways to get in. One of the ways is from Adso's camp. We have a quest to take us to Adso's camp. He's kind of another hub on the way to Bree from Buckland. So he has a bunch of quests. It's really good leveling there. I'm not going to say the quests are incredibly different, but they're certainly different from these in that, it deals a lot more with brigands than it does with perhaps spiders or the ilk of the animals in the Old Forest. So you can get in that way. There's also a way in from the Barrow Downs. They've actually expanded some entrances into the Old Forest through the Barrow Downs. It used to be that you had to take a very specific kind of path to get here, and not so anymore. It's really changed. I'm going to make a turn here. I'm going to go. It's a bit of a long way out of the way to come back a short distance, but I think it's kind of worth it. So yes, and you can all actually enter the forest from the road. They've flattened the hills in a couple of spaces. A lot of really cool changes have been made to this game to kind of make it more, I'm not going to say easy, but a little more user-friendly and a little less rigid, because, the game used to be extremely rigid. A lot of things were gated, like gated content, where you'd have to solve one problem to be able to enter another area with another problem. Crafting used to be an incredibly detailed process. We haven't done any crafting on this character. I really didn't think it was appropriate for me to basically tan hides while you guys watch. I can tell only so many stories about tanning hides and whatever, but crafting is a big part of Lord of the Rings Online, especially in the early levels. A lot of the best gear actually is crafted, as opposed to found in raids or instances. Oh, I had a little stutter there. So crafting is quite important. Now, the way we used to craft is a lot different than we did now. Like, when the game first launched, and since I'm on the Treebeard server, this is a very appropriate story. When the game first launched, there were no crafting guilds. No, indeed. And there were only 5 tiers. So, while I get to Gilliman, I will show you the first 5 tiers of crafting here. Thank you for joining, those who just joined. Appreciate your hanging out with us here tonight in the Old Forest. Curse those spiders, I say that all the time. So let's look at the crafting here. Now, I'm a jeweler, a prospector, and one heck of a cook. Look at that cooking. This cookbook was meant for me. So all 5 tiers of cooking are perfected. So with these tiers, you got apprentice tier, you got journeyman tier, expert tier, artisan tier, and master. So there were no crafting guilds, as I said before. You had to make things in order to advance your crafting. Another cool thing that they've added for a lot of the tiers, I'll show you here in Prospector, is they've done, no, not there, maybe jeweler. Okay, processing. This is a new concept, okay? They just introduced this a few years back. You can take copper ingots, which you can actually farm and mine, and turn them into shavings, okay? And then you can turn those shavings back into copper ingots for really good XP. It's 10 XP every time you do that. The only way you used to be able to get XP as a jeweler were to polish gemstones, agates and amethysts, or to make jewelry, because you can also make copper jewelry, okay, at tier 1. This is just tier 1, I'm just kind of giving you an example, but no crafting guilds. It was difficult, and there was a fight for materials, etc. So now they've made it so that it's a lot more user-friendly. You have a lot more things that you can do to gain experience, and there are guilds which give you experience as well. So the game has really opened its doors and kind of made things more easy and a little more streamlined too. There used to actually be cross crafting needs. You needed to have a tailor make products for your metalsmith so that he could make armor. It was very realistic, but it was also very detailed. The tailor had to make these pieces, send them to your metalsmith. Your metalsmith had to make other pieces to make the armor. It was a long process, and now you just need items like the metalsmith. Everything you need is right there. Everything for tailor you need is right there. So, all right, so we found Gilliman. This is new trouble in the Old Forest. He says,
Hello.
So Tully Brockhouse sent you. Good. I've discovered something very odd happening here in the Old Forest, and you may be able to help. I found a strange glade to the southeast infested with monstrous spiders. I've never seen the like before. Almost makes me believe those stories about old Mad Baggins down Hobbiton way. They made me drop my pack. Oh boy. Even that is not the worst of it yet. I saw a tree walking about, covered in scars and looking like every leaf had fallen off it, like if it were the dead of winter. Now I see some strange things being here in the Old Forest, but I never seen a tree like this, moving through the woods, killing every manner of life in its path. A renegade ent? Perhaps. Maybe just a horn. One of those moving trees. I tell you, if it were Old Man Willow himself come to stalk the Old Forest, he would not be so cruel. That's saying something. Something has the forest in a dire state. So he wants one. You're one for a good tale, I see. Well, thanks. Follow me, Gilliman. Follow me and listen to the tales here. Well, then a good tale I shall tell, I hope. The tree did not look alive, rotten to the core, I think, and seeking only vengeance. Perhaps it was one of the tenders of the past, spooked by some feeling of dread that washed over it, or some such. I know only that beyond it, it lay beyond the spiders that took my pack. The spiders stole his pack. I would run and never come back. That pack would be gone. It was foul and terrible to see, a great blight in the forest. If something in these woods has stirred them to something greater than mischief, I would first look there. You will need to cross the river here and search within the hollow where the spiders make their nest. That was the last spot I saw the tree. Okay, so this is the one that's going to take us deep. This is going to take us deep into the Old Forest here. So, and we have follow-ups. These are new. I know these quests are new. So let's do the matron in the hollow. One thing I know about spiders is that they typically move in broods. At the head of the brood, you're likely to find a queen, a female that cares for, watches over, and commands the lesser spiders. Oh. I gather that there is a brood matron in that hollow, although I'm not certain where, as I did not see her. So be wary, and if you do find her, let me know, and I will see that you're rewarded. Okay, I know where to find the hollow. Defeat Labrenil. Alright, that's one. Evil on 8 legs. They're all evil. Alright. Before you go, well, now, as I've said before, I think that nest of spiders I found has something to do with all the queerness stirred up in the forest, but there are too many spiders for me to deal with by himself, and the bounders will only come with fire and axes. So it's up to us, folks. We gotta kill these spiders. So if you make your way into the heart of the nest to find the tree, maybe you can clear out some of the spiders. Perfect. We'll do it. And find the pack. I dropped my pack just within the bounds of the hollow. I know where his pack is. We'll find that pack. Alright. Alright. So that's one. Now Rollo Maggot is just up ahead here for the Old Forest investigation. And once again, all of this shrubbery and undergrowth, they've really done an amazing job of adding this to make things even more alive and kind of wild. So I really another thing too is back then I used to play on very low graphic detail because I had I guess I'm not as good of a PC, so it makes a difference too when you have a PC and you can run on Ultra and see these things. That's pretty cool. All right, so here's Rollo. He's got a sword and he's killed someone. I'm not lying. What have you done, Rollo? What have you done? Well, let's see. Goodness! All right. He tried to kill me. I'll gut you like a fish. And then your girl, he said. Or holy smoke, is this investigation discovery all over again? Or I'll make certain you never see your lovely again. I didn't mean for this to happen, but he threatened Celandine. I couldn't let him hurt her, could I? All I wanted was to get the notes I wrote for her from him. You can't treat people like that. Good, honest hobbits we are. Didn't want to hurt nobody. I'm going to stay here and give him an honest burial at least. But could you tell Doderick that I'm all right? But please don't tell him about any of this, will you? Could you take these now, show them to Doderick, he'll understand. Wow. What happened to Rollo here in the... Awful. He got accosted by a brigand. My goodness. What's becoming of the Shire and the Old Forest? Okay. So it says, talk to Doderick Brandybuck at Bald Hill. That is kind of... That's not too far. I guess we can make that trek. Just a little bit up the river Withy Windle. And then up there. And then, viewers, we will head into the heart of the matter and deal with these spiders. So, I just want to make sure I'm going the right way here. There's a bit of a spider den right to my left. Now, if you're watching, you see what's off in the distance? You see that humongous willow tree? That is Old Man Willow. Old Man Willow appears in the books. He traps all 4 hobbits inside, and Tom Bombadil is forced to release them. And he is in this, and he's got... it's pretty cool. They're Old Man Willow. We're close enough to him. Now, if we get even closer, you see how I've got this kind of powdery look going on about me? Well, it's sapping my power because these baleful willow roots here that are part of Old Man Willow sap power. They also cause you to be drowsy. You feel sleepy as your strength is slowly drained from you. They're stealing my blue bar, my mana meter. Awful, awful. So that is Old Man Willow. We'll have to return to him after we complete one of the epic storylines, but he's one to stay away from on a normal day, I guess. So let's see here. We're heading up to talk to Doderick Brandybuck at the Bald Hill, just to tell him the news about Rollo and his murderous tendencies. Well, it was self-defense. Let's not give Rollo a hard time. It was him or the brigand, and he made his choice. So let's not question Rollo Brandybuck's morality, or at least not right now. So I walked right by the entrance up the hill. Now, just in case you're wondering, we found 3 of the flowers of the Old Forest. That means we're still missing 5. Okay, I think I will take one more detour to get the 4th flower, because I believe the last flowers are all south of the road. No, there's 2 more up north. Okay, we'll get those another time. But we're almost at Bald Hill. And how's everybody doing? Are you still enjoying the holidays? Still enjoying the Christmas holidays? Is everybody back to work yet? I'm personally off until... Well, it was supposed to be January 5th, but I took a couple of extra days, so I'll be off until, I believe, the following week. And there we go. So glad to know that Rollo is all right. That's such a relief. What is this? Maggot's notes to Celandine. There are some references here that make it seem... No wonder he wanted to recover these from that man. Here, take them on to Celandine. She should see what Rollo thinks of her. Okay. Yeah, work or school. Looks like the Rose Garden only starts on the 7th. I believe we found out that Swimmeroo starts school on the 5th, I think, this evening. I found that out. One thing I will be partaking in with my days off coming up in early January is the Mines of Moria actually open up on the legendary servers January 5th. So, not sure. That usually is a process that takes the better part of the morning. I think they started at 8 and the servers usually open around 11. I'm really interested in seeing how this is going to happen on this legendary server. I was part of the launch of Moria on one of the other legendary servers, and it was quite the event. There were so many players, just all huddled around and doing all the quests and competing. Oh, we got a wolf. Competing with each other for mobs, and yeah, it was a very fun time. Now, conversely, a lot of people actually enjoy waiting. They don't want to do day one. They basically want to let everybody kind of fight it out, and then just, you know, go in after and kind of take your time and be able to get things, because it is crowded. It is the 5th. All right, Swimmeroo, very cool. All right. Now, I will say this. So, if any of you are watching the stream, or you have watched the stream and you're kind of like, oh, I want to get into this game, you know, it's a beautiful game, I want to give it a try, but, you know, I'm really, now, like, it looks like Moria's coming out, and Pathfinder, yes. So, now that Moria's coming out, you know, the game is going to go too quickly. No, it won't. This is the Treebeard server, after all. Don't be hasty. The server is designed for those who want to take it slow and who may not want to jump right in. Now, let me just check here. I'm having trouble seeing my map. I think I have to go through there. That road there. That's where we're going. So, oh, that's really great, Swimmeroo. First Steam game is going to be I think it's Winkle. We just call it kind of Winkle, and we blank. But the Little Shop, that's a great little game. I like that one. But anyway, if you're, geez, that's a fell root. I don't like that root at all. Okay, so in case you're wondering and you want to get into the game, and you think that it's going to progress, no, this Treebeard server is fantastic. With Moria's introduction, Moria will be on the server for at least another, like, for probably about half a year. I would say at least 6 months, and that's only, you know, you're looking at a game that's only 60 levels in. It does not take an extreme long time. You can get a character from level 1 to 60 playing casually in, you know, maybe a month, I guess, if you played like once or twice a week for, you know, a couple hours here and there. The first few levels really do, even though it's a slow progression server, the first few levels pass very quickly. And now, I don't know what's going on here. I think I'm in the wrong part of the forest. I think I went ahead of myself. I'm a little worried. It's this fog, evil on 8 legs here. Let me just remove some of these and I'll go by the blank map. Where? I don't... Oh my, okay, there's a flower up here, I think. Oh, we might as well go get it. So, no, so go ahead, roll a character, get yourself playing, and get yourself to Moria. The ride is great. You get to do a lot of exploration, a lot of the stuff that we're doing here in this stream, that I'm kind of taking slow, by the way. It's not like, if you think this is the speed of the game, you can go a lot quicker than we're taking in this stream. This is more of a completionist, you know, take it easy, do the quests, talk about the dialogue. We read the quests, you know, so a little bit different. You can really motor along, and if you're a fast reader, of course, you could read the quest and still motor along. So here's another flower. It's right up here in the corner, okay? So I came in from the Withy window, went through this tunnel. There's a flower there, and there is another one to the south, I believe, right around there. So we're going to go sneak and get that one, too. Trouble with this, of course, is that we are in an area right now where things are a little more difficult than we're used to. You see the color. Here's a little tip. The color of some of these mobs here. I'm looking at them. I see this forest web crawler. It's a spider. Great leaf crawler. They're blue. Okay, they're a dark blue. So the game classifies mobs and levels by color. If you're fighting mobs that are dark blue, or white, or even light blue, you're fighting at about your level, maybe a little bit lower. Okay, right now we're level 16, that spider was level 15, he's dark blue. If he was level 16, he'd be white. Now, you see this fell oak root up ahead here? This is a level 20 mob, and it's orange. So what happens when you take on a mob that's orange? Well, orange isn't so bad. There's yellow, and then orange. Orange is a little tougher than yellow here. So what happens is you kind of don't usually do as much damage. Now we're in real trouble because we've got a big old tree here. Oh boy, this is a level 19 tree. I'm going to stun it. I'm going to go in behind it. I'm going to stab it in the back. So, what happens is your attacks miss a little more often when mobs are a higher level than you. And they have a bit more of a resistance to some of your attacks. Like, for example, if you're if you're a magic using character, like a minstrel, someone that uses tactical attacks, minstrel, a lore master, a rune keeper, quite often your attacks can be resisted if you take on mobs that are too high a level for you. Then the next level after orange is red. You've got red mobs, and then you get into purple. Now, when you get into purple, if you ever take on a purple mob, it's a good idea to just run. Don't really get involved. That's anything 8 levels above you and above. Chances are you're not going to hit it, because the game has a way of mitigating damage, and as I said, there's increased resistances to your attacks the higher the level of the mob. So if you find yourself in a place where there's a lot of things that are purple, you'd best get out. Find a place that's more suitable for your adventuring and go there. So as it is, I'm a little below level here, but I'm in a more dangerous part. So here's another flower. And on the map, you can see this one's at the bottom. The last flower was up there. This one's down here. Okay, so there's another flower. And now we're going to sneak out. I'm not even going to make excuses. I'm not really where I wanted to be, but that's just fine. You get to see this stuff. So, about those plans, about the Mines of Moria, and about this legendary server. So one thing about the legendary server is that it is subscription only. They've kept it that way, I guess, to ensure that the people who really want to play the game are here and who play that. Lord of the Rings Online is a free-to-play game. All the regular servers are free-to-play. You just need to sign up for an account, and boom, you can get going. You do face some limitations. You've got a limited inventory. You've got a limited bank size. Your wallet can only handle so much gold. But you can always earn different things. There are quest packs you can earn where you can unlock different areas of Middle Earth to adventure in and level up your character. You can unlock a wallet that allows you to carry more money. You can do many things. So, but that's all free to play, and that's all standard servers. So these legendary servers are a bit different in that you have to be a subscriber to be able to play them. So I am a lifetime account member, so I've had my account since 2008. So basically I get to play in almost anything that's been released in the main storylines and whatnot. There are a few expansions that you do have to buy, I guess even with the lifetime pack. So okay, so there's a couple of things here, but I would highly and a couple of spiders. Oh my goodness, that's like my worst nightmare. If that ever happened to me, I would just about head for the bathroom, because, you know, accidents would happen. So let's take these spiders. I'm gonna riddle this spider here. Oh, and you know what? I haven't yet asked my riddle. What riddle will I ask? What I wanted is now the thing is I just watched The Lord of the Rings with Swimmeroo. So, there were a few riddles asked there in the riddle game. So, what do you think? Is there something that I can come up with? Maybe one of you can come up with a riddle. What do we think here? Any good riddles out there? Oh, riddle number 2. So, Rose Garden, do you have a riddle? Riddle that we can try to answer? By the way, we just picked up another flower. So there's another flower right here in the flowers. I'm tall when I'm young and I'm short when I'm old. What am I? I know the answer to that riddle, and that is an awesome riddle. So if anyone wants to type in the answer to that riddle, I will... let me see here. I don't know how to prove that I... well, here, Rose Garden, that's a riddle that could burn quite a few people. You know, that may not have the answer. So, so let's see here. So the flower is here. We found a flower there. We found a flower there. There's a flower here. So that's a great riddle. And if you know the answer, go ahead and throw it out there. And I'll give you a round of applause. I don't yet have channel points to spend where you can kind of ask me to do stuff. Not quite, Swimmeroo, not quite, but you're on the right track. And there's the Forester pack. So, alright, so now we're getting to the heart of the matter here. Any other guesses? I'll let that burn down for a couple more minutes, and then we'll take that up. So we're now completing the spiders in the south end of the old forest. So we have to defeat the spiders, discover the source of the forest unrest, defeat Lebrenel, and defeat more spiders. So there's 24 spiders, and there's 12 spiders. There's 2 different spider quests that we're accomplishing. Talk about killing 2 birds here. And once again, thank you for being here. If you've stuck with the stream from the beginning, I really appreciate you guys hanging out. It's a wonderful feeling to kind of know that you're actually talking to someone, and maybe, you know, giving them information, new information that they didn't have before, or simply just hanging out, chilling, learning a few new things, checking out my amazing burglar skills that I seldom talk about because we're not really at the point where I have a whole lot of skills and I can explain my progression, but we're getting there. We are getting there, so. Any other guesses to that fantastic riddle? I'm tall when I'm young, and I'm short when I'm old. When am I? Pretty soon, Rose Garden, I will ask you to enlighten someone as to the answer to that riddle. Look at me, just full of puns here. Alright, so we're killing these spiders. We're going further in. As you can see, there are webs all over here. I'll show you where we are in the old forest. Hey, there we go, Swimmeroo. Congratulations. Good job. So we're in this area down at the bottom, the Weaver's Den. We're kind of going a little bit further in. Yay! Right on. Good job. And we're just killing spiders as we go. This area, boy. You know, there are memes that appear on social media. What? Whoa! All right. Whoa! That's not very nice at all. Where they show these areas, and they pick on people like me, because I am not a spider fan. I'm sorry, you know, for those who are. You know, even if I'm playing Animal Crossing New Horizons, the tarantulas, I don't like them. I mean, I could catch them and all, but I just, oh, whoa. Okay, this is not, this is a shard dropper. This isn't, Itor Kalsak. This is not a quest mob. This is an actual shard dropper, and I haven't seen this mob in here for years and years and years and years. What a creepy looking red thing that is. Look at it go. You. Alright. We're going to kill it, and we're going to take its shard. And click. Alright. And I'll put a fellowship spin on it. Confuse it a little bit. And yes, look at that Sapphire Shard and Eltor Kasak's Mandible. Ooh, interesting item that, and it'll lead to a good conversation in just a second. So, so what was I saying? I can't remember. Oh, spiders. So places like this in memes, they show these places, and they're like, okay, so if you're whoa, look at that big thing. That is the quest mob. That's the big mama walking around over there. So they show these things, and then they're like, you know, would you go rescue your relative? Would you? And my answer is always like, sorry, nice knowing you. Nope, you couldn't get me to go in there. I have a cousin who's not afraid of spiders, who's really, really handy. Oh, completed Enmity of the Spiders. There we go. There's something cool. All right. Hobbit stature, +8 might. Very cool. All right. So no, I would not engage in this evil, these spiders. They're just beyond me. This foe is beyond any of us. I would capitulate and just say, no, I'm not doing it. So, now the item that I just found up here, which was Eltor Kasak's Mandible. Okay, so a little bit of a history lesson. Most people who play Lord of the Rings Online are familiar that in order to crit on certain items, shards are needed. There are several shards in the game. There's a sapphire shard, that's the first one. Then there's a ruby shard, followed by, I believe, an adamant shard and a beryl shard. Shard-based crafting starts in the journeyman tier, which starts in the teens of levels. So, but before, and I said I'm going to give you a little history lesson. Look at all these spiders. That's just rude. Too many spiders. Too many. But anyway, before the days of shard-based crafting, so there used to be these named mobs, like that one's name was... I'm butchering this every time, so I'm glad it's not a player character. There it is. Aitor Kalsak. Oh, and we just leveled up again. Level 17, right on. Aitor Kalsak, and it dropped a mandible. So now this is just something that you can just turn in for gold, okay? Once upon a time, people used to camp this spider. They used to basically hang out hoping to run into it because it was the ingredient needed for a very specific recipe. So, now, just imagine that. You've got hundreds of players all camping the same mob to try to get that mandible because you needed it to make, say, a set of heavy armor shoulder pads. That was an actual thing. So, not too long, I would say probably about a year after the game launched, they went to shard-based crafting, which basically meant that all of the named mobs dropped a shard, and all you needed to craft those pieces was a shard. So, a little bit of an interesting twist from the original version of Lord of the Rings Online to something that we now kind of just take for granted. And then, of course, there's something else to make that even easier than it used to be. So I'm messing around with this tree. This is the haunted barren oak that was terrorizing the forest, killing everything that was living. That we talked about with one of the quest givers, and it's seen me. All right, it saw me, and it's doing something about it. So let's do something about it. Let's look at that that horn. It's got two eyes, mouth, evil tree. All right, I think this is maybe the first one we've taken on. Oh no, I got surprised by one earlier. That orange one. So this is kind of the boss tree. Alright, and defeated. Alright, so that's another thing done. Now we just have to find that big mama spider and rid the world of it, and life will be good. So, as I mentioned, they went to shard-based crafting, which basically, you know, continuing my little history lesson here, made things a little bit easier. You could just kill any shard dropper in Bree-land, or I believe back then some areas of the Lone Lands still drop ruby shards or sapphire shards. So you could just kill any mob and get one of those shards. Now, one thing they've introduced in Lord of the Rings Online that is not yet on this legendary server are skirmishes. Skirmishes are small instances. You can actually you can do them by yourself. You can do them with a friend. You can do a 6-person version. So I believe there's 1, 2, 3, 6, and 12 person skirmishes. And what it is they're just little instances. Okay, there's that evil thing. All right, we're gonna track it down. And when you do these skirmishes, it's kind of like you know, one of them is there's trouble in Bree by the prancing pony. You have to defend the prancing pony. Oh, this is disgusting. Listen to that thing sounds. That's so gross. Kill it with fire. I mean, sorry, we're in a forest. We gotta kill it somehow. We've got one left. No, we've got 2 left. I'm gonna riddle one. Alright, that spider has been riddled. Riddled with mold. Alright. So, with these skirmishes, so for example, you have to defend the prancing pony and Bree. Okay, so you're outside the prancing pony. You go into the instance. A group of mobs come out. So brigands from one side, brigands from the other. Sometimes they have generals. Sometimes they have pets. And they take about 15 minutes. And at the end, you've completed it. You get some XP. You get you get these skirmish marks. Okay, same thing you get when you complete a deed. You get a certain amount of skirmish marks. So what these skirmish marks do is you visit a skirmish camp. Every zone in Lord of the Rings Online has a skirmish camp. And you can trade these marks in for items. You can trade them in for shards, so for crafting. You can trade them in for critical effect items on your crafting. So basically, if you're crafting a I guess each crafting tier has certain levels. And say you're crafting the top level item of that tier that you need shards for, okay? Then that's one thing. But if you're just making, say, the entry level item, for example, for your like level 17, I'm soon to be 18 Hobbit, other critical items are needed other than shards. You don't have to get shards for everything. And you find some of these through mining or cutting wood, etc. So you can buy those at a skirmish camp. There are certain boosters that you can buy at a skirmish camp that, help you to increase reputation. There's clothing, there's jewelry. So if you don't really feel like crafting, you can just get your gear from the skirmish camp. It won't be the best, but there is some actual decent gear to be found in those camps. So that's another thing. So skirmishes, they are not in right now on these legendary servers, the level 50 ones. They will be introduced with the Mines of Moria, because Moria has undergone a change. The whole game actually went under a change, and this is kind of a cool story to kind of almost start to say goodbye on the stream with. So the original Lord of the Rings Online, being an MMO, everything that was major, like there was an epic storyline that went through the whole thing. And some of the quests you could do on your own, but some of them you needed help. There were just some instances that were so difficult that you'd need either 3 people or 6 people to get it done. Okay, quite often 6. And this goes all the way through Volume 1, all the way, so on and so forth. When the game first launched, there was just basically 1 volume. I think we're going to go back to Buckland here. And, I have to bring that fellow his pack. Is he not there anymore? No? Okay. Well, we'll just go back to, talk to Gilliman Brandybuck in the Old Forest. Oh, he's right there. Okay, cool. So anyway, so the epic storyline took you all the way through, and you needed help. One thing they did when the game went free to play, okay, so here's a matron in the hollow. Good riddance, we're better off without the queen. I agree. Okay. And also Evil on 8 Legs.
Hello.
Though I do hate disturbing the natural order, I cannot be sure that the spiders now in this area are natural. I swear they appeared from nowhere. Alright, thank you for recovering my pack and clearing some of them out of the valley. Perfect. Alright, 2 things done. The rest, I believe... Oh, I that's what I did. I turned these off. Okay, so there we go. So what they did was, when the game went free to play, they introduced the skirmishes, okay, to the game, which was originally it was at level cap 65 when the Mirkwood expansion dropped, okay. They changed the epic storyline so that you could do the entire storyline by yourself. You did not need help. If you went into a place where you needed help before, there was a stone that you could carry with you, an elven stone, that you could use to draw inspiration, and all of a sudden your stats would go, for example, from... Oh boy, I just have a little... Say, they multiply to a factor of 20. Like, if I had 1,000 morale, and I'm entering this instance, I think I could probably end up with something like 10 to 20,000 morale, and you hit harder, and you take less damage. The whole thing is designed so that you can experience these this epic storyline, which is actually really epic. It's a really good story. Basically on your own. You didn't need to wait around for a group or go searching for a group. I guess they figured with the story progressing the way it did, more players would be interested in doing later content than going back and doing the epic storyline again. So one of the changes that they made when that happened is they introduced the skirmish, and in Moria was one of those places where in order to get some of the things done, you needed people, you needed more bodies to do some of the instances, because they were really difficult. They were designed for 6 people. So anyway, in making the original epic storyline and the Moria epic storyline able to be soloable, they give you these inspiration buffs. But they changed Moria. They changed the group instances in Moria became skirmishes. So, and as I said, you could do skirmishes by yourself, in a pair, 3, 6, 12. You could do the skirmish by yourself. You could do a duo. So it really opened up a lot of possibilities for those who just wanted to experience that epic storyline. And and I will tell you this: daylight is coming to the Old Forest. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's 4 dawn, and it's really starting to get light in here. Normally we play during the day of the game, and we end at night. Now we're kind of just waiting for night to fall, and or night to dawn, and play during the day. So that was the story. Those were the epic storylines and how that changed over the years. They really haven't done much since. The epic storylines past, I guess, Moria and the original 15 volumes of or Volume 1 and 15 books. Each epic storyline consists of anywhere between, like I would say 8 and 30 quests, and they call them books. So when we start the epic storyline, which we can actually start when we get to Bree, we'll be starting with Volume 1, Book 1. And then we can go all the way from Volume 1, Book 1 to Volume 1, Book 15. So there's a lot of stuff for us to do, and it's pretty exciting. Alright, so we're out. Totally Brockhouse here says, always thought that old Gilly was touched when he talked about the trees touched in the head when he talked about trees moving there, but now you tell me the same thing. Worse that one talked. We should keep this to ourselves so as to not sow fear among the quieter folk. Let's keep it on the download. I got you totally. All right. So as a reward, let's grab what are we gonna grab here? Let's grab a pair of shoes. I'm not really into the shoes, so that's fine. So, and let's see here. Hodrick Bracegirdle says,
How rude.
How rude. Good job. Those spiders are awfully creepy, and I would never want to see them up close. Let's just take this shield. It's probably worth a few coins, and we can get rid of it after. Oh, and we completed a deed. Forest spiders means completed Bree-land adventurer. Alright, so we now have a virtue that we can add to from Bree-land. So, and finally, deliver Rollo's notes to Celandine Brandybuck. So that is just on the other side. I think that's about it for Old Forest. And it is day. The day has dawned. It's dawn. So it's a beautiful place to be. And we're in Crick Hollow, and the next in our next step, we'll be moving east to Mr. Adso's camp. And we'll be doing quests around there. And I think in our next stream, we might even make it all the way to Bree. So let's see what Celandine Brandybuck has to say here. So anyway, I'm sorry. Finishing the story. So after Volume 1 and Volume 2 is Moria's epic storyline. Volume 1 continues, and I'm sorry. Volume 3 begins, and it takes us back into a lot of these areas that we've been to before. It's kind of a trip down memory lane because, well, I'm not doing too much in the way of spoiler alerts, but Aragorn at some point in time will need the help of the Rangers, and they're scattered all over Eriador, so you can kind of guess where that's going to lead us. So that's one of the stories. So what does she have to say? Oh, these are the notes on the Old Forest from Rollo Maggot. Oh my, the boy is sweet on me, it seems. Hobbit love. Here we go. He's such a wonderful lad. I'd never noticed this before. Thank you, Jubilos. I will be certain to put these to good use. Excellent. And you have delivered Rollo's notes to Celandine. Talk to Wilmac Brandybuck at Newbury. He's right here. Wilmac says, you found him! He's coming back soon, and I finished all I set out to do. For that you deserve something. It may not be much, I fear, but please take it. Oh, yes, we're still feels like the Shire. Mushroom pies and eggs and onions. Actually, let's go for some fried mushrooms. Turn it into a big mushroom reward. Perfect. Very Hobbit-like. And I think that's it. This ring belongs to that quest, the Unnatural Fury quest that we did. So that's kind of a different, non-original storyline. So we'll leave that for another time. So with that, we're done Buckland, and we're done the Old Forest. Imagine that. We got it all done in one night, just like Santa. Right? So, I will say just a couple things at the end of the stream. First of all, thank you for joining. This was really fun. I really hope you had a really good Christmas, and any other celebration you might have partaken in. I hope it really went well. I had a very challenging Christmas this year, but I had some really good times, and family is always good. So, so if you enjoy the stream, you can follow me on here. So click that follow button. That would be fantastic, and I appreciate it. You can also check out my videos on YouTube, which the link will be posted, I believe, momentarily by the Rose Garden, if she's still awake. And you can follow me on Twitter at SteelyDad2021. And also at, if you have any questions about the stream, or things that used to happen that I know about, or that you're curious about, or if I got something wrong, it does happen, go ahead and email me. It's steelydad2021@gmail.com. Love to hear from you. If you have a riddle that you'd like to contribute to a future stream, that would be fantastic as well. So without any further ado, we're off to Adsos. It's a little bit further up the Great East Road for our next stream, which should happen within the next couple of days. And I really hope you enjoyed your time with me tonight. I enjoyed spending it with you. So without any further ado, good night, and see you again. Cheers.